Here we have the Nothing Phone 2A, which will cost you right around 380 euros, and for that price you will get a ton of features, a great display, and a lot of plastic. So today we will take a full tour of the smartphone, and I guess let's start with the specs and the design. Alright, just like I mentioned, you will get a full plastic smartphone. You have a plastic frame and a plastic back, but at least we have a 6.7-inch display with Corning Gorilla Glass 5. So you got some good scratch resistance right here. The backside of this phone is also transparent, just like every other Nothing phone, with the Nothing phone logo in the bottom left corner and a dual camera setup right in the middle on the top end of the smartphone. It looks like two eyes looking at someone, just that the eyes are very close together. The Nothing Phone 2A is only IP54 splash water and dust resistant, which means you should not go underwater with the smartphone. It also weighs in at around 190 grams and has some very cool LED features on the backside, to which we will get later on in the video. Now, like I said, you get a big 6.7-inch AMOLED display with HDR10 Plus resolution, 1300 nits peak brightness, and a smooth 120Hz display, which you can also trim down to just 60Hz or just leave it in the auto mode. You can also change the colors on this phone. By default it is set to Alive, but you can also set it to Standard, and there's even a slider to further customize the color temperature. As far as it comes to watching your movies, videos, and Instagram reels, this phone has some great colors thanks to the OLED display and the HDR10 Plus resolution, and you got a screen to body ratio of about 87%, which means you have some pretty small bezels all around this phone as well, which is really not a common thing at all for smartphones in that price range. Now, the Nothing Phone also has an always on display mode, which will show you some basic infos, plus you can even schedule the time for it since you don't need it overnight, and that feature will cost you a lot of battery life. Now, the audio quality is actually pretty good with the stereo speaker setup. The sound is clear and you can really bump up the volume, but that's how it sounds like. Include the Apple Watch or the Samsung watches since they got released last year, but still there are some very interesting smartwatches on this list. Next up, the battery life, and this little phone lasts longer than you would expect thanks to the 5000 mAh battery. You can easily get through the whole day and the night with still some percentages left in the morning. And the great part is, if you do run out of battery life, this phone only takes 23 minutes with 45 watts wired charging until you're back to 50%, and it takes about 1 hour until this phone is fully charged. Now, feature-wise, you get quite a bit for your money. So this phone runs on Nothing OS 2.5 based on Android 14, and you can grab this phone with either 128 or 256 gigs of internal storage. And if you take a peek into the storage settings, we will see that about 11 gigs are already used up by the system. Then you got a fingerprint sensor, which works most of the time, but I did find out that it does not work every single time, so that's when it does not work. But it also has a face detection, and this one works a lot better. Now, the main feature of this phone is definitely the backside, so you can set timers and your 3 LED lights on the back will light up. They will also light up when your phone is ringing, and there are super many different light shows that you can choose from, and you can choose certain light shows for a specific contact. Then you get some lights when you get a notification, and with the Glyph Composer, you can also compose your own lights on the backside. Then there are some experimental features like your car control for your Tesla car, you got AirPod support, or the enhanced touch response. Now, in your safety and emergency features, you now also have a car crash detection, crisis alerts, earthquake alerts, and unknown alerts. Now, on this phone you will get live captions and shortcuts right from your lock screen. You just have to hold both volume keys for a few seconds, and there's even an extra dim feature to dim the screen beyond your phone's minimum brightness. But feature-wise, that's already it. I mean, you can have some custom features on your lock screen in the bottom left and the bottom right corner, and you can add some lock screen widgets, but that's about it when it comes to the features of this phone. Next, we have the performance and the gaming. The Nothing Phone 2A runs on the MediaTek Dimensity 7200 Pro, and like this, working on this phone is super smooth, but when it comes to gaming, this phone isn't the strongest. I played Genshin Impact, and you can tell that you get quite a bit of lags when you're playing on high graphics settings with about 25 frames top. So I would suggest playing on low to medium settings for the best gaming experience, even though you will not get over 30 FPS, but at least no lags. There's also a game booster with which you can take screenshots and screen record. You can toggle on the D&D mode, plus boost the performance of some games, but not with every game. As for last, we got the camera. So we got a strong dual camera setup with two 50 megapixel cameras. Now, the one is the main camera with optical image stabilization, and the other one is an auto wide angle shooter. Then we got on the front a 32 megapixel selfie cam, which can record videos in 1080p and 60 fps. The front camera is a little bit better with 4K resolution and 30 fps. Now the Nothing Phone 2a also has a few camera modes. So we got the portrait mode, and right here you can even change the background blurriness with a slider. You got time-lapse, pano, and expert mode. And there is a night mode which will activate automatically when it gets dark. Now when it comes to your portrait shots, I think you get a very nice background blurriness with a clear image of the person in front, but just the colors aren't that vivid. They are more on the natural side of things. The rest of your normal pictures really look good. With nice poppy colors, you get good contrast, and even the 2x zoom really looks good. You will get some sharp pictures. Now, just by looking at the auto wide angle shots, you would think that they look pretty decent, but in comparison to the normal pictures of the main camera, you definitely see the difference in the colors. The colors aren't as vivid anymore, and the pictures is overall a little bit brighter. And guys, there we have it. That's the Nothing Phone 2a. Now, if you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more tech reviews. And I guess with that one being said, I will see you in the next one. Peace.